have poor David all on one side by himself. I won't leave you by yourself.
Okay. Good evening, folks. This is the Mount Anthony Union School District number 14 warning of annual meeting, March 4 and March 5, 2013. The board would like to introduce themselves. If you want to.
Sure, I'll start. I'm Sean Marie Oler from Bennington.
I'm David Durfee from Shaftesbury.
Nelson Brownell from Pownell.
Leon Johnson, North Bennington.
Ken Sweat, Bennington.
Jim Holbrook, Pownell. Dave Frederickson, Bennington.
Thank you. The legal voters of the Mount Anthony Union School District number 14, consisting of Bennington School District Incorporated, North Bennington Graded School District Incorporated, Shaftesbury Town School District, Pownell Town School District, and Woodford Town School District are hereby warned to meet at the Firehouse on River Street in Bennington, Vermont on Monday, March 4, 2013 at 6 o'clock in the evening to transact the following business from the floor. Article 1, to accept the reports of the district's officers for the preceding year as reported in the annual report. Any questions or comments? Anybody want to talk about any part of the report? I guess not. Yeah. Anything of interest?
Yeah, there's a couple things I'd like to talk about. If you don't mind.
Sure. No, that's fine.
I guess I should stand up here, I guess. Is that the
Yeah.
policy? A couple things. First meeting I came to.
Can you state your name?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jesse Straight from Bennington. This is the first meeting I've come to, and a couple of reasons I'm here. First is, you know, the median family income in Bennington, Vermont is about $26,000. Yet for a house that's $200,000, you're paying about $5,000 in property tax. It's a little steep for a community that is losing population. Now, one thing I found interesting about this report is that your school system continues to lose people, kids, yet your costs continue to go up. From a guy that's in the corporate world, been there a few years, has created budgets, I find your budget unacceptable for this community. I'm not certain where we're going to get this money from, unless you plan on taxing us even more. Is that the plan? Because right now we don't have any money.
Well, I'm sure there's somebody that can
Okay.
respond to that.
A couple things in this report that you know, with the enrollment, continue to go down. Like I said, the couple things that I noted in this report is you have officers on the board that actually have an annual salary. I thought this was all volunteer. I didn't know your salary went from $300 to $500. A clerk is actually going to double his salary for 1 year, and I just find that amazing. A couple things other. You're going to spend $500,000 in science. Your total budget for science is $500K. You know, it's increasing a little bit, but overall, I think science is one of the most important, you know, departments in math. Advisory club salaries, you got a salary in here. Someone's getting a salary raise from 16K to 21K. I'm not certain what the advisory club is about, but you know, if I got a $5,000 raise in 1 year, I'd be pretty excited about that. $419,000 for guidance. I guess I don't understand the cost of guidance. Guidance, you know, you're spending as much on guidance as you are for mathematics, and that, to me, as a taxpayer, is a little troublesome. Principal salaries, $279,000. So are we paying one individual $279,000
No.
for MAU?
No.
Okay, so is that a couple principals? I mean, it doesn't really spell it out. That's why I'm asking.
Tim, are you going to answer? Do you want me to answer?
I can,
Why don't you finish, and then we can go
Okay.
down through, and maybe we can...
Principal secretary is $116,000. So when it said salary, it doesn't say salaries in the budget. You think that it's going to be one person. So if that's not the case, that's fine. But your total principal budget is $689,000 for a principal's budget. I think that's excessive. You have $548,000 for maintenance on a building. Maintenance. I've looked over some of your action items and some of your reports. And I got to tell you, I've written action items. I'm an engineer by trade. My boss expects me to write goals and action plans on a regular basis. Action plans need to be measurable. There's actually only one action in here that's measurable. And that action is to go to the 25, one of the statements in here was about 25% of the classrooms will be reviewed, minimum 25%. And that was the only actionable item that was in this report. You got $1 million in here for English. You know, tech ed, math, again, $800,000. But, you know, my concern is that for a community that is losing population, and the amount of money that goes into this community via taxes on food, via, you know, the state of Vermont, which is going to do another beverage tax, which this town of Bennington by your, you know, by a town manager wants to raise it 1% again for tax. It's like, how much more do you need to have an effective school system? Because right now your school system is not effective. And that's why people are leaving Bennington, Vermont to go elsewhere. So I urge the board to, to actually look at this again and come up with some numbers that are realistic. Because this community cannot afford another 6% tax hike. There's too many people in here. As I said, $26,000 median income in Bennington, Vermont. That's nothing. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'd just like to start off with a couple things, and if there's something that I leave out, and further questions be sure to ask me. First of all, I would disagree with you in the sense that the schools aren't performing their duty. Not that we can't always improve, but if you take a look at our record over the past few years, you'll see that many of the outstanding characteristics that a school is judged by have improved greatly. I'm talking about attendance, I'm talking about graduation rates, I'm talking about the colleges that the kids go to, the test scores that we have for advanced placement scores and things like that. Let me just finish and we'll go through it. So I just wanted to get that. In terms of the budget, our budgets are going up. The problems that we face are that we do have a declining enrollment, but that enrollment is not declining at such a rate that it allows us to eliminate a lot of classes. In other words, if you drop 50 students out of a total students of 1,100 students, those students come out of four grades, basically. And there could be 2 from here, 2 from there. We still have to run those classes. We have eliminated over the last 3 years, I think it's 7 positions within the, I'd have to go back, but it's somewhere in that range. It's not that we aren't aware of the fact that our student population is declining, and that we haven't taken a look at it. But we are also faced with more students that need extra help than we've ever had before. We have a number of the state mandates that if a student qualifies as a special student, then we must supply the type of an education that that student needs. We also have a number of students that we feel strongly about that are not performing at a level that we feel that they should be performing at, whether it be in some of the basic skills like math and reading. And therefore, we have built up within our schools staff that can work with those students to bring those scores up. We are very aware, all the board members are aware that the schools play a very important position in the community, in the sense that if we don't have good schools, we're not going to be able to attract good business and people that are going to support them. So we are trying wherever we can. Most of our costs are involved with contractual arrangements. We have somewhere between 75% and 80% of our costs are tied up into salaries. We have contracts for our teaching personnel as well as the other individuals within the system that support the school that we must honor. We have increasing costs at all times. Now, you know, I could go on and on.
I understand your increasing costs, I understand your contracts. And I'm not, you know, teachers who perform should get paid for that performance. To compare yourself with the state of Vermont, saying you're doing better, is not really a good comparison. State of Vermont is not a benchmark for student learning, okay? That's not a benchmark. Pick a state that is a benchmark. You know, pick Williamstown, Mass. Or something, which is right down the road. Don't pick the state of Vermont, because the state of Vermont, the school systems are deteriorating on a rapid rate. And it could be because of all the things that you just stated, all those mandates. And I'm not saying it isn't. It could be that. But with a 6% or whatever you're asking for, another additional expense. When I see, you know, principals, do they have a union? Do they negotiate salaries? Why can't we? Okay.
Their salary is basically tied to the union.
Why?
Teachers union.
Why? They're administrative. Why would they be tied to the teachers' union? My salary is not tied to the union membership that I support.
That's a conversation that we could have at a regular.
I understand that, but my point is, think out of the box.
Let me just answer that administration cost. We have at the, well, let me just pick the high school. We have changed the way that the administration is, the responsibility is delegated, whereas we used to have 3 people basically that were in the administration. Now we have, Sue, 2?
We have 2 people, and then we have 5 teachers that
get a stipend. In other words, we have 7, basically we have 7 people that are receiving cash salaries for the work that they do in administration. It is costing, but if you take a look at our administrative costs, the number of people that we have in administration, and compare that to what is the state average or what is the national average, we're just where we should be.
$900,000 for administrative costs that's $1 million. So that's what I'm saying. It's $1 million. Okay. I know Sue she's a superintendent of school. She's got an assistant superintendent. Everybody's got a principal and assistant principal, you know, and ongoing. As a manager, I work for a facility that's unionized, okay? I don't have the union contract. We negotiate that with the union, and that's different. As an administrator, as a manager, I don't get that contract, okay? I negotiate that. So to say that the principals and assistant principals and superintendents are within that contract,
No,
I
I didn't say that.
I think it needs to be
I said
discussed.
their salary is based in terms of the administration of our teachers. It's based on that. Now, the administrators throughout the district have an association that they use as a bargaining unit when they're discussing salaries.
Okay.
And working. What?
I wouldn't expect it to be, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the administration.
Yeah, administration costs, that's fine. So go ahead, and that's basically,
That's basically it.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any other discussion on the report? If not, Article 2, to establish the annual salaries of the district officers as follows.
Joe, do you want to just accept that, and make a motion?
I'm sorry, yeah, I got, all right. Article 1, to accept that as a motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second?
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay. Make sure, record that. Okay, moving on. Article 2, to establish the annual salaries of the district officers as follows. A, moderator, $10. B, district clerk, $1,000. C, school directors, $1,200 each. D, treasurer, $18,354. What's your pleasure?
So move.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Article 3, to authorize the school board to borrow money in anticipation of tax revenues to meet current operating expenses of the district.
So move.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? So carried. Article 4, to hold a public informational hearing on articles to be voted upon by Australian ballot on March 5th, 2013. Any discussion or questions pertaining to tomorrow's vote?
So move.
Second?
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody abstaining? So carried. Article 5, to transact any other business found proper when met. Any other business? Guess not. The legal voters of the Mount Anthony Union School District Number 14 are hereby warned further to meet on Tuesday, March 5, 2013, when the polls will be open to transact business by Australian ballot as follows. So I guess it's time to adjourn. Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They get to go to the house.